Forward Facing Sonar. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Forward Facing Sonar. For those of you who don't know what this is, Forward Facing Sonar is a sonar system that in the front of your boat, a transducer specifically, that allows you to view fish in real time. So basically giving you the ability to watch the fish, to see the movements of the fish, what's down there, and everything like that. There's some other things that we'll get into a little bit later as I'm talking about it. But it's an amazing piece of technology. It's really good stuff. I've personally never owned it. I plan on owning it at some point, especially if I'm going to keep fishing tournaments, because I really got no choice. You got to get pieces of equipment that keep up with the higher end stuff and keep up with the level of competition. So every little bit of advantage you can get is what you're going to have to go with. With that being said, I just got done doing an exhaustive amount of research from multiple people, videos, podcasts, all kinds of stuff. A lot of people don't like it at all. A lot of people agree with it, that it's not bad. A lot of people say it's damaging the fisheries. Some people don't. And some might even say that I don't need to even be having an opinion on it because I've never used it. Well, I've seen it used in person and seen what it looks like in person. And I noticed that even when I was watching it and sitting there messing with it, I was like, dude, thinking of all the possibilities that this system could have done for me and the benefits it could have provided me on the water during tournaments, or just out fishing in general. Basically giving me the ability to find these untapped fish that I didn't know were there. Especially out in offshore fishing, where I struggle the most. Out there, that'd be a huge help. And all of this is just personal opinion. I'm not going to tell you yes, no, because honestly, the whole point of this series is you guys get to watch me grow from just a regular bank angler to getting all the way up to the pro level if I can get there. That's the point of this whole YouTube channel. So I'm basically making this as a documentation of my opinions now versus later. So as of now, my opinions on it are, if it's available and it's legal for the tournament, use it. It's there. Because from the standpoint of a lot of biologists or people who maintain fisheries, they're saying that we can't hurt the bass population as much as they say we are, because even our call limits aren't even right. Like the catch and release community has done more damage to it than anything else, trying to save fish instead of, taking the small ones out like we're supposed to. You only keep the big ones, you can't take the small ones. This is something I've personally adopted, is if I find a 4-pounder on a lake where 4-pounders are giant, I'm throwing the 4-pounder back. But if I catch a 3, a 2, and then a bunch of little small ones, I'm going to take them home. If they meet that minimum limit, I'm going to take them home. Do I think it's damaging the fisheries? I can't say yes or no, but I am leaning towards the no. Because it's just a piece of technology. You could still go out there and suck, make a cast on a spot. You can watch the fish, and no matter what you thought was the right lure, you're still not catching them. You're still not using the right bait. You're still not getting them. So I don't think it's a bad one per se. Is it fair for tournaments? Now that's a whole different thing for me. On my opinion, the tournaments should be 100% skill. They should be. That's what we're there to compete against. We're not here to see how far we can go in catching all these bass, how many we can catch with all these special technologies, and if you don't have them, you can't catch them the same way. That's not what this should be. It should be the same thing as all the cars in NASCAR have limiters and governors in the car, and everyone racing has the same max speed. And they can push it here or there based on how they're driving, but the max speed is the same on all these cars. And if you go over that, that's how you get this DQ'd for whatever reason. And that should be the same in bass. So it should come down purely to skill and nothing more. So should it be banned in tournaments? I think so. I believe it should. But at the same time, I also think that the max boat size should be lowered. I don't think it's necessary for us to go 80 miles an hour to a fishing spot with a 250 on the back of your boat. I don't think we don't need that much. I mean, look at how many accidents we've had over the past year of boaters wrecking and stuff like that. Granted, most of those accidents were them not knowing what they're doing or being too brazen and just blasting through an area they know better not to. Me just getting into it, I see how this could be more of an elitist sport, because between everything it costs to get in the tournament fishing and feel like you have a chance at doing good, regardless of where your skill is, you need all the other advantages. You need them all. So like for example, if I don't have spot lock, offshore fishing is gonna suck because I'm gonna be rolling everywhere. At least with spot lock, I can stay somewhere and I can actually try lures. And if I can't go 70 miles an hour, the guy that's behind me that wanted the spot, but he launched after me, he'll beat me there every time. And that's because I don't have $75,000 to drop on a bass boat. I don't have a bonus $5,000 to drop on a decent trolling motor. I don't have all of these. I don't have this huge coming influx to buy all these things outside of sponsorships. I can't do it. Between the house and all of that, I can't do it. Not to mention we're getting into entry fees. Rods and reels that I've gathered over the years that I still use. I still use one from Walmart to this day. Still, it's one of my favorite ones. And we're getting away from this whole, it's an elitist sport thing. I shouldn't have to put myself $150,000 in debt to fish tournaments. That's absurd, it's idiotic, it's dumb. Will I make it do with the minimums I got? Yes. Yeah, I think the transducers and forward facing sonar being so expensive and everything else is contributing to that level of elitism in fishing. And pros can deny it till they're blue in the face, but the harsh reality is, even when I was doing Kansas Buddy Bass, the guy that had the forward-facing sonar and the ability to do that, they always placed higher than we did, higher than the rest of the crew. There was a guy there that says he's been fishing for like 50 years, and he was out there fishing with us. He had 2D like I did. Yeah, he beat me because just that skill gap, but the three guys with FFS on the front made top 3. And if you look at the past 4 years of the same tournaments, the guys who have it, they always land in the top 2, 3, or 4 every time. And all of this stuff adds up, you know. So no, I think we need heavier restrictions on what you're allowed to have on your boat. Minimums, maximums. If you really want to make things more fair, you make it where you're only allowed to have one fish finder on the front of your boat with one transducer and your trolling motor. On the back, you're allowed to have 2, but a total of 24 inches of screen, period. You can't go any more. So you can buy the biggest ones on the market you want, you're still fine. And you're only allowed one transducer at the back of the boat. That's it. So if you want to do forward-facing sonar on the front, you got to commit to it. You got to have it. You got to commit to that one transducer in the front. That's it. You can have one in the back for mapping and then one for side scan or whatever on your back and on your console. That's all you need. That's it. The rest of it's skill. You can do side scan and find stuff. You have your one for down scan so you can get a depth. You can get good read on what's beneath you. You can spot lock, get a view of it. Maybe if you just want to say screw that and put 360 on and go for your way, that's your one transducer. Good for you, man. Go for it. The max limit on your boat size should be period, flat out 20 foot. You cannot go over that, cannot go under that. I mean, you can go under that, but you cannot go over 20 foot. And a minimum of a 17 foot. I think that's more than enough. You can fish most places. The minimum horsepower, I agree, should be 150 because that's enough to work around rivers and all that stuff. And heavy current and wind. And your maximum horsepower can be 200. That way you're not ball hauling, you're not going 80 miles an hour on your boat because you don't have the power to do it. Especially with a 20-foot boat, you don't have the power to do it. It's a heavy boat, smaller motor. The 200 will still get you up to 60, 65, 70, but you're not going to reach those high speeds up there. So, but I digress. I'm getting off on a tangent. Forward-facing sonar, as I think, is the most controversial thing that we've got going right now. I think it should be out of the tournaments. Yes, drop it out of tournaments. Will I go down and buy one? Absolutely, because it's there and I'm allowed to have it. So if you're allowed to have it, but it's there and you're not using it, you're only hurting yourself. Now, if it keeps going and it gets banned, hell yeah, I'll be happy to sell it. I'll be happy to drop it because I don't fucking want it. And then I'll be more proud to be part of these tournament sponsors, these tournament organizations that actually promote skill over learning how to use a new piece of a technology. To where I'm not just a batter with an aluminum bat, while the guy over here who was once a pro is using a wooden bat. And that's how I see that. It's all skill based. It's all of it. So take that how you will. Some people are going to agree, disagree. That's on them. I just wanted to get my opinions on it out there. Ramble on a little bit for an incoherent video that I just decided I'm going to make. So these are all my unfiltered, unedited opinions on it. I'm going to have a lot of people disagree. I'm going to have a lot of people agree, and I don't care. That's just how I think about it. So take that how you will. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.